Good afternoon. In the last class, we were discussing about basics of op-amps and how to analyze operational amplifiers. We started off by analyzing four different types of feedback configurations, of which we said we are going to make use of voltage series and voltage shunt feedback. So the first voltage series feedback amplifier we are going to study now. So voltage series feedback amplifier, the best example is the op-amp non-inverting amplifier. As you can see, the op-amp non-inverting amplifier is the best example for voltage series feedback amplifier. We'll be finding, as usual, the voltage gain, input and output resistances, and the bandwidth. We started off our analysis yesterday. First, we spoke about how we can consider a closed loop feedback amplifier. The input signal is given to an adder and the feedback signal is connected to the same adder. The input signal is given with a positive sign, whereas the feedback signal is given with negative sign. So the voltage what I get here, the differential voltage VID is Vin minus Vf. I told you if you want, you can scale the input by a factor K. But anyway, that is not essential. It is an optional block. Now, VID will be Vin minus Vf. The differential input signal which is given to a basic operational amplifier will amplify this VID with a gain A. So you will get an output voltage which is A times VID. V0 is A times VID. This V0, we bring it to the feedback network. The transfer function or the feedback factor B or beta is defined as what? Output of the feedback network divided by input to the feedback network, Vf by V0. And finally, this Vf again comes back to the summer where we started off. So the input signal Vin, as it moves through this feedback network, gets multiplied with the factor A with the factor B or beta, and this combination A into B is known as the loop gain, right? All that we saw in oscillators also. And op-amp will function from left to right, the forward direction, whereas the feedback network will function from right to left, the reverse direction. Output to input side feedback should be given. And we defined the open loop gain of the op-amp A as output of the op-amp divided by input to the op-amp V0 by VID, whereas the closed loop gain of the complete amplifier, this whole feedback amplifier, the complete gain or closed loop gain, overall gain we call, or closed loop gain of the complete feedback amplifier is final output voltage V0 by actual applied input voltage Vin. See, the input what we are applying is Vin and the final output is V0. So V0 by Vin is known as closed loop gain. We also call it as gain with feedback. This open loop gain is gain without feedback. You see, that's why the subscript what we have used is F. AF represents gain with feedback, A represents gain without feedback. Okay. And as I told you, why this negative sign, why Vf has a negative sign? Because in the op-amp, if you remember, we have non-inverting terminal and inverting terminal. The feedback which is brought from the output side to the input side will normally be connected to the inverting terminal, and anything converted to the inverting terminal will be shifted in phase by 180 degrees, right? Shifted in phase by 180 degrees means with a minus sign. So let's consider our op-amp non-inverting amplifier or voltage series feedback amplifier. The other name for this is the non-inverting amplifier. Okay. Op-amp as a non-inverting amplifier. You have studied it in basic electronics. Anyway, we'll go into a little more depth here. The analysis will be more accurate. First, we'll get the accurate expression and then we will get the approximate expression which you have studied. Okay. So what is the concept in a non-inverting amplifier? The output is divided across a voltage divider or potential divider, RF, R1. So there is a connection RF in series with R1 and the output voltage appears across this resistor. The midpoint of this connection is taken and connected to the inverting terminal to provide the feedback signal VF. So whatever is the voltage drop across R1, that would be the feedback signal, and whatever is the voltage across RF plus R1, that is your output signal. The same voltage appears across a load resistance RL also. And as usual, in a non-inverting amplifier, please remember the input signal should always be given to the non-inverting terminal or the positive terminal. Okay. So input signal whenever is connected to the non-inverting or positive terminal, then we call it as a non-inverting amplifier because the output voltage will be in phase with the input voltage. It won't be reversed. There is no phase shift of 180 degrees. Now, as we saw, how do I define this VID, the differential input voltage? If V1 is the signal at the non-inverting and V2 at the inverting terminals, this difference between the two, V1 minus V2 or V1 difference of V2 is a measure of differential input voltage, VID. Okay, and then I can substitute for V1 and V2. In this circuit, V1 is directly connected to the input signal Vin. So V1 is equal to Vin and V2 is connected to the feedback signal Vf. You can see V2 is connected here where we are taking the feedback from the output. So V2 is Vf. So what will happen to this VID? You will get VID as Vin minus Vf. Okay. And the feedback voltage will be 180 degree out of phase with input, all that we saw. And how do I find an expression for closed loop voltage gain? The expression for closed loop voltage gain, as we have already defined, is the final output voltage which we have here, this final output voltage divided by the actual input voltage which is applied to the circuit. And since the output is connected back to the input side, it is already, the feedback loop is closed. It is a closed loop circuit. Okay. So AF is defined as V0 by Vin. Let me call that as equation 1. And then we have the output voltage here, V0 will be what? Gain of the amplifier into its differential input voltage VID. V0 can be written as A VID, and I know VID is V1 minus V2. So I'll substitute VID as V1 minus V2. Now I have an expression for V0. I have to try to find this expression for Vin. So let's try to do that. From this circuit, we know this Vf, the feedback voltage which is there across this resistor R1, can be written as B times V0 or beta times V0. Why? Because this function, the feedback factor beta, remember, is always the ratio of its output. This is the output of the feedback network, and the input to the feedback network is the output voltage V0. So how will I define this transfer function B? B can always be written as what? Vf by V0. In other words, I can write the voltage Vf as B times V0 or beta times V0. Okay. So that is equation 2. we are expressing the feedback voltage in terms of the output voltage, and I will substitute this value Vf as B times V naught in this equation 1. Okay, what will I get? I'll get V naught as A into V in minus B V naught. For Vf, I'm substituting B V naught. Okay, now we will rearrange the terms. I have V naught term on the right hand side and I have a V naught term on the left hand side. Let me shift this term on the right hand side to the left hand side. So what will I get? I'll get V naught into 1 plus A beta or AB. I told you we are used to calling this beta rather than B. So if I shift it to the left hand side, I'll get 1 plus AB into V naught is A times V in. Only this remains, right? And what am I interested in? I am interested in finding the closed loop gain or the gain with feedback for this non-inverting amplifier, also known as voltage series feedback amplifier. How will you define this ratio? It will be A divided by this V in, I'll take it to the LHS, 1 plus A beta to the RHS. So it becomes A by 1 plus A beta. Please remember this expression. It's a very important expression for finding the gain with feedback in any amplifier wherever we use negative feedback. So whenever we use negative feedback in any I'm sorry, I think there are some signal issues. Therefore, the standard expression for gain with feedback is gain without feedback divided by 1 plus loop gain. A into beta is called as loop gain. So A by 1 plus A beta is always going to give us the standard expression for gain with feedback in any amplifier which uses negative feedback. Okay, that's the standard equation. Please remember that. And actually we call this denominator, okay, this denominator is known as the desensitivity factor. 1 plus A beta is called as the desensitivity factor, and you can clearly see the voltage gain with feedback is less than voltage gain without feedback because it is getting decreased by this factor 1 plus A beta. So as we know earlier, whenever we give negative feedback in a circuit, the gain decreases, and we have proved that. So now let us go for in-depth analysis of our non-inverting amplifier or the voltage series feedback amplifier. Can we find what is the voltage across this resistor R1? You can clearly see the output voltage V0 appears across RF plus R1 combination. See, this point is the starting for V0 and this point is the ending, ground. And R1 and RF are part of this. So the total voltage appears across the series connection of RF and R1, whereas the feedback which is going to the inverting, we were discussing about the closed loop feedback connection, the non-inverting amplifier. We know that the total voltage appears across the series combination of RF plus R1, and the feedback voltage is the voltage across this resistor R1, right? Like this. This is the voltage feedback, and the total voltage drop V0 will be across the series combination of RF plus R1. So we can easily use the voltage divider rule to find Vf. Vf is equal to V0 into R1 by RF plus R1. So you use the voltage divider rule, find an expression for the voltage Vf across R1, and I am interested in finding the value of the feedback factor beta. So the value of this feedback factor B or beta, whatever you want, you call it, it is output of the feedback network, the output voltage VF divided by the input to the feedback network, which is the final output voltage V0. So VF by V0. Take V0 to the left hand side. What remains on your right hand side is R1 divided by RF plus R1. So you have an expression for beta and you know what is A, right? We already have A. And what was the expression for AF which we derived? AF, I told you, very important equation. Please remember. Gain with feedback is gain without feedback divided by the factor 1 plus A beta. Substitute the value of beta in this. So what do I have? Gain with feedback is gain without feedback divided by 1 plus A into this B or beta value is R1 by R1 plus RF. This R1 plus RF, I can take it to the numerator. So this will become the exact expression for the voltage gain of a non-inverting amplifier, also known as voltage series feedback amplifier. Okay. So whenever you're using the non-inverting amplifier or voltage series feedback amplifier, the exact expression for gain is this. Do you remember what is the expression which you derived when you did it in basic electronics? What is the expression which you derived? What is the gain of a non-inverting amplifier? Yes? One of you please tell me what is the expression for
RF by R1.
Yes, it is 1 plus RF by R1, or in other words, it is RF plus R1 divided by R1, right? This was the approximate expression which you considered. So the exact expression is slightly different. We can derive the approximate expression from this by taking some considerations. So as we know, the gain with feedback is gain without feedback divided by 1 plus A into beta. And the beta value, we found it as R1 by R1 plus RF. In a practical ideal case, we know gain is very, very large. This A, I told you, is in the range of 10 power 5 or 10 power 6, even for practical op-amps. All the practical op-amps which we use have gain in the range of 10 power 5 or 10 power 6. So you can clearly see this second term, that is AR1 by R1 plus RF, can be considered to be much, much greater than the first term 1. You see, I have a very large value. Even if R1 by R1 plus RF is less than 1, say even if I have 0.2, 0.3, whatever, this gain, which is sufficiently large, will result in a very huge value of this second term when compared to the first term. So the second term in this equation will be much, much greater than 1. Therefore, if I neglect this one, if I consider this one is negligible when compared to the second term, I'll be getting the approximate expression. As you can see, A and A cancels out. So I have 1 divided by R1 plus RF, or R1 plus RF by 1. Or as you said, the gain with feedback for a non-inverting amplifier is 1 plus RF by R1. Okay. And you can see that the voltage gain is mainly dependent on this ratio RF by R1. The larger the value of RF, the higher the gain. Okay. So one more thing you should remember in all op-amp circuits, for better functioning, we try to choose the external resistors within less than 1 mega ohm. because if we are operating at values more than 1 mega ohm, we'll have some additional stray effects. To prevent that, we try to choose all resistors to be less than 1 mega normally. Okay. Now, one more thing is, what is the feedback circuit transfer function? I can't call it as gain. Because gain is something which is usually more than 1. So let me just call it as transfer function of the feedback circuit. So the transfer function of the feedback circuit we know is written as beta or B. It is Vf by V0, which is given by R1 by R1 plus Rf. And this AF value is what? 1 by B. So ideally speaking, we got AF value as R1 plus Rf by R1. So you can clearly compare AF and B and C. AF is 1 by B for a non-inverting amplifier. Most of the feedback amplifiers will follow this rule. This rule is true. Okay. This is true for most of the feedback amplifiers. Please remember this. The gain with feedback will always be approximately equal to, or I can say this is approximately equal to 1 by the feedback factor. Okay. Now, let's try to do an alternate derivation. To do that alternate derivation, we should understand the concept of virtual ground. Since you are all very familiar with this concept of virtual ground, let us very quickly discuss this. So let's just consider any op-amp for that matter, okay, which takes two inputs, V1 and V2, the non-inverting terminal, the inverting terminal, and the output voltage V0. The gain, open loop gain of this op-amp A is designed to be very, very large, or I can say A tends to infinity. Okay, very large, where A tends to infinity. So ideally, what should the output be? This op-amp is designed to amplify the difference between the two input signals. So what will the output voltage be? The output voltage of this op-amp will be A into VID, where VID represents the differential input voltage. I can say A into V1 minus V2. And remember one thing always, whatever voltage is given to non-inverting terminal, that should be considered positive. And whatever voltage is given to inverting terminal, you should take it as negative. Okay. So the differential input voltage will be A into V1 minus V2. Is that fine? Now, how do I, next I'll say, if A tends to infinity, or if A becomes infinity, what will happen to VI? See, what is VID? VID is V1 minus V2. I have given V1 to the non-inverting terminal here. Okay, you forget about what is there here. I have written it differently. V1 given to the non-inverting, V2 given to the inverting. So VID is V1 minus V2 and V0 is A into VID, or in other words, I can write VID as V0 by A. If A tends to infinity, what happens to VID? If A becomes infinity, VID tends to what? 0. See, V0 is some non-zero value, and dividing a non-zero value with infinity means I'm going to get the total division value quotient to be tending to 0. Right? So if A tends to infinity, then this differential voltage will tend to 0, or in other words, V1 minus V2 should be almost 0, which implies V1 should be equal to V2. Or in other words, we say if I'll call this principle as principle of virtual short rather than calling virtual ground. Let's call this principle as principle of virtual short. It appears that there is a virtual connection between the two input terminals of an op-amp, mainly because of the very large gain of the op-amp, which will see to it that the differential input voltage will be very, very small. This VID, does it mean that it is always 0? If you are not giving anything, how will you get some output voltage in a circuit? Is it possible for us to create energy? Remember Newton's third law, energy can neither be created nor destroyed, right? I can't simply create energy by giving 0 signal. Here we are telling the differential input is 0, but still the output can be large. Is that possible in practice? Please remember, in practice it is not possible. When I say VID can be approximated to 0, it means VID is so small, that is, it is in the range of few micro or milli or nano volts. So this differential input voltage is so small that even that small value, when multiplied with the large open loop gain of the op-amp, you will get some output voltage. So surely you will be getting an output voltage, but V1 is not exactly equal to V2, but the difference between the two is very, very small. That's what we mean when we say I can equate V1 to V2. Is that clear? So you can equate V1 to V2 by considering the difference between the two signals to be very, very small, so that you can almost consider both are equal to one another. This concept of considering the voltage at one terminal equivalent to the voltage at the other terminal can be used for easier analysis of op-amps, and we call this principle as the principle of virtual shorts. So it appears that there is a virtual short circuit between the two input terminals of the op-amp. Okay. Now coming to the concept of virtual ground. Since it is the same explanation what we did for virtual short, but here we are showing an op-amp configuration where one of the inputs is actually connected to ground. You see V2 here, the non-inverting terminal is actually connected to ground. Nothing is given. V1 will appear as though it is virtually connected to ground because this VID is 0. Remember, the only thing which you have to remember whenever you explain this concept of virtual ground is that because of the huge gain of the op-amp, because of the very large gain of the op-amp, it appears that the difference between the two input voltages given to the two input terminals is almost 0. So whenever the difference between the two input signals is 0, I can state that the voltage at one terminal will follow the voltage at the other terminal. In this case, I have not connected anything directly to V1. See, V1 goes through a resistance to the input signal Vin. So I can say it appears that V1 follows this V2, or there is a virtual short circuit. Virtual means it is not physically shorted and there won't be any current flowing through this. So please remember that. There won't be any current. We call it as a virtual short because V1 will also be at almost 0 voltage when V2 is connected to 0 or the ground. Hence, this point at the inverting terminal, V1 is the virtual ground, okay, and V2 is the actual ground. Remember, V2, this point is actually connected to the ground, whereas V1 appears at 0 potential, which is same as this V2. Hence, V1 is the virtual ground. I hope this concept is clear to you. If you have any doubts regarding this, please ask. And remember, when I consider VID is 0, please remember, it is not practically 0. You cannot get something out of nothing. There has to be some input to get some output. So we can't get something out of nothing, and that we can consider this VID as 0 because it is very, very small and we don't calculate up to 6th or 7th decimal places. So even 3rd decimal place we usually avoid. So even if it is in millivolts or less than that, I can consider VID as approximately 0 and I can equate the voltage at the non-inverting to inverting. Supposing, say, I had given the non-inverting terminal to some input voltage Vin and the inverting terminal I had connected it to some resistance connection like this. Can you tell me, can I find the voltage at this inverting terminal? See, the voltage at point A is V in. I'm just showing you an example. The voltage at point A is V in. Can I find what will be the voltage at point B? How much will it be? VB. Quickly, the same concept we are discussing. It's a concept of virtual short. See, this doesn't mean like if one terminal is grounded, the other is at 0 potential. Similarly, if one terminal is at V in, the other terminal voltage will also be at the same potential. This is using the principle of virtual short. So please remember, I can have this concept of virtual short applied anywhere whenever I want simpler analysis of op-amp circuits. Any doubts with this? So using this concept of virtual ground or virtual short, let us try to find the approximate expression for the voltage gain of this non-inverting amplifier. This is how you did it in basic electronics. So we always considered the concept of virtual ground or virtual short. You see, in this circuit, what we'll do, the differential input voltage VID is considered as 0 using the concept of virtual short. Remember that. Because of virtual short, this differential input voltage is 0, which means I can consider V1 as approximately equal to V2. Okay. And in this present circuit, what is the value of V1? This is V1 and this is V2. What would be the value of V1 here? It is equivalent to the input signal V in. You can see V1 is equal to V in. And what would be the value of V2? V2 is equal to the feedback voltage Vf. So V2 is equal to Vf, V1 is equal to Vin. And what was the value of Vf? Using the concept of voltage divider, total voltage from here to here is V0 and the voltage across this resistor is Vf. Remember, the current flowing here is almost 0. All of us know that the op-amp input resistance is very, very high. So almost 0 current enters into the op-amp. That's why I need not consider the division here. the voltage Vf will be R1 into V0 by R1 plus Rf using voltage divider rule, right? R1 into V0 by R1 plus Rf. Now, if you assume this VID as 0, you can write what? V1, which is nothing but V in, is equal to V2, as we have already shown. V1 equal to V2. So V in is equal to V2, which is Vf, right? The voltage coming to the inverting terminal, which is V0 R1 by R1 plus Rf. Or in other words, you are interested in the voltage ratio V0 by V in, which will turn out to be 1 plus Rf by R1. I hope you understood this. All what we are doing is we are writing VID as 0 and VID is equal to V1 minus V2. Therefore, you are equating V1 to V2. And from the circuit, you can see V1 is V in and V2 is Vf. And you write the expression for Vf, then you will get V in is equal to V0 R1 by R1 plus Rf. And from these two LHS and RHS, you extract the equation V0 by V in, you will get 1 plus Rf by R1, right? So that's about the voltage gain. We can find it in any one form. Next, we have to find the input resistance of this non-inverting amplifier. So we have to derive the exact expression for input resistance of the non-inverting amplifier. So, please, yeah.
Ma'am, in the previous example, you had shorted the inverting terminal and you had given an input voltage to the non-inverting terminal. So the
Sorry. Sorry. Can you ask your question again?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, in the previous example, you had shown that the inverting terminal is grounded and V in was given to the non-inverting terminal.
Okay.
With that V2 is equal to 0 and by the concept of virtual ground, V1 will also be equal to 0. So where did the rest of the voltage drop, ma'am? Like V1 is some value.
Are you talking about this?
Yes, ma'am, this one.
Yeah, the non-inverting terminal was given to, yeah?
Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. This example, ma'am. Here, to the non-inverting terminal, it is grounded, and input is given to the inverting terminal.
Okay. The input is given to the inverting terminal through this resistance. This V in is given to the inverting terminal through a resistance R1. So I don't know what exactly is the voltage at this terminal. And I can find that voltage, a part of V in drops across R1 and whatever is left will be available here. Are you able to? This voltage will be 0. Who's that? Others, please. The voltage here can be assumed to be equal to the voltage here because of the simple reason that the voltage here and here will have a very, very small difference, which is in the 4th or 5th decimal place. Since we are not considering accuracy up to that many decimal points, we can simplify our analysis by considering whenever I have a direct connection to one of the terminals, I will consider that direct voltage to affect the other terminal also. See, in this case, the non-inverting terminal is directly connected to ground, whereas the inverting terminal is connected to Vin through some resistance. So you don't exactly know what is the voltage at this inverting terminal, right? We don't know what exactly is the voltage here because this inverting terminal is connected to R1 and RF. Therefore, using this concept of virtual short existing between the two input terminals, I can consider the voltage at this inverting terminal to be following the direct voltage which is connected to the non-inverting terminal. Wherever I have a direct signal connected, the other terminal voltage will follow that direct signal. So in this case, the voltage here would be 0. Similarly, I told you, that direct signal need not be 0 always. Here I had connected the non-inverting terminal to 0. So I said inverting terminal will also be at 0 potential. Whereas in this example, the non-inverting terminal is connected to Vin. I have connected a voltage source Vin to the non-inverting terminal. So using this concept of virtual short, the voltage, where have I given the direct signal? The direct signal is given to the non-inverting, whereas the inverting terminal is connected to a set of resistors. You can see this inverting terminal is connected to RF and R1. So using this virtual short principle, wherever I have a direct connection, I will say the other terminal voltage should follow that direct connection. Therefore, the voltage at this inverting terminal will also be equivalent to Vin. Okay. And this is a very, very valid conclusion for the simple reason that we know op-amp gives us very high gain, ideally infinity. And we have shown that the output can be generated with almost 0 input voltage. So considering this equation that VID is V0 by A, if A becomes infinity, VID becomes 0 and VID is nothing but V1 minus V2. But I told you, remember that there will be a small voltage which will generate a large output voltage. But for our purposes, we are not interested in accuracies as small as the 4th, 5th decimal place. So we will consider that VID is 0 in our considerations and it works quite well. You will not see a large difference or change in gain. Okay. Is your doubt cleared or is it something else?
Yes, ma'am. Cleared, ma'am.
Okay. So let's try to find the input resistance. As I was trying to bring it to your notice, to find this input resistance, we are representing the input of the op-amp with its Thevenin's equivalent circuit. You can see the input of op-amp is the internal diagram. Within this triangle, I have used the Thevenin's equivalent circuit of the op-amp, where I have a resistance Ri connected between the non-inverting terminal. This is your non-inverting input. This is the inverting input. So I will have included a resistance Ri. On the input side of any amplifier, there will be some resistance Ri. And on the output side, the output voltage will depend on the input voltage through a dependent voltage source. Whenever I use Thevenin's equivalent, I should always use a dependent voltage source. And the value of that voltage will be A times VID, where VID represents the differential input signal between these two terminals, V1 minus V2. Okay. And the output voltage will be A times VID. And in the Thevenin's equivalent, I should always include a series resistance with the dependent voltage source, as you can see R0. Therefore, We have written an internal circuit diagram for the op-amp, and we have brought all the external components as they are. In the output side, I have a load resistance RL across which V0 is measured, and a part of the output is brought back to the inverting input by using a voltage divider network of RF and R1. This resistance is R1, this is RF. The midpoint of this series combination comes to the inverting input terminal. Therefore, I am now interested in finding what is the resistance seen by this voltage source Vin. What is the overall resistance as seen by this voltage source Vin? That is my input resistance with feedback. Whatever input resistance I have here, Ri represents the input resistance of the basic op-amp without any feedback, open loop op-amp. Whereas RIF represents the input resistance once the loop is closed, once the feedback loop is closed, it is the input resistance with feedback. We have to find that now. Okay. So how do I define RIF in this circuit? Whatever voltage you apply as input divided by whatever current. I will assume there is a current In flowing into the op-amp because of this voltage source Vin. Okay. Let me consider In is the current going into this circuit because of the applied voltage. Naturally, if I want to find what is the resistance offered by this whole circuit, that is a measure of the input resistance. You have to find what is the resistance offered by this whole circuit to this input source. You know the input source, you know the current it is sending. So just divide Vin with In. It's the same procedure what we did in amplifiers. Okay. So as usual, again, participants have started to join. See here, you just find the overall input resistance with feedback by using the applied input voltage divided by the input current. And next, I can try to write an expression for input current in terms of the difference in voltages. I call this voltage as V1 and this as V2. And the current In which comes here should flow here also. Yes or no? Whatever current is coming here should flow through this input resistance Ri. So can you write what would this be? Can you write an expression for in terms of V1 and V2? One end of Ri is connected to V1. The other end is connected to V2. So the drop across Ri will be V1 minus V2. This is the voltage across Ri, and the value of current I will be voltage divided by resistance. So V1 minus V2 divided by Ri, I can write for In. Okay. And I will replace V1 with Vin. I know this V1 is nothing but the input signal Vin connected. And what is V2? V2 is nothing but the feedback signal Vf. So this Vf is the voltage here, which is coming as V2 to the inverting terminal. And the non-inverting terminal voltage, which is V1, is directly connected to the input signal Vin. So I'll replace V1 and V2. I'll get In is Vin minus Vf by Ri, the current. And now you recall that this difference, the difference between the two input signals, Vid is V0 by A, or V0 is equal to A times Vid. We know V0 will be A times Vid, or Vid is V0 by A. And what is Vid in this case? Vid is V1 minus V2 or Vin minus Vf. Therefore, I can equate this Vin minus Vf to V0 by A, and V0, the final output voltage we know, can be written as the exact input voltage which is applied, actual input voltage which is applied into closed loop gain. See, I'll consider the whole non-inverting amplifier to have a closed loop gain AF. Output voltage is V0, input voltage is Vin. So what is V0 in this case? It is AF times Vin. Yes or no? This whole thing which I have shown in the circle represents the complete non-inverting or voltage series feedback amplifier. Therefore, you can write V0 as AF times Vin, or in other words, what can I write? We know Vin minus Vf in this equation, and I'll replace V0 with AF into Vin divided by A. I'm just manipulating this equation by substituting for V0. Finally, I can substitute all the values, group the values. Take Vin to the left hand side and substitute for Vf. You will be getting this equation will simplify to AF I know is A by 1 plus A beta. We already know gain with feedback is gain without feedback divided by the desensitivity factor 1 plus A beta. I'll substitute that. And Vin I have. So simplifying, I'll get this Vin minus Vf is Vin by 1 plus A beta. One more step we'll go. I think I have to clean this out to show. Okay, I'll show it here directly. Therefore, what happens to Iin? This Iin, which is Vin minus Vf by Ri, I can write it in terms of this Vin, and can I write it in terms of Rif? What could you define Rif as? Vin by Iin, or Iin can be Vin by Rif. If we substitute this equation here, we had an expression for Iin, and I have Vin minus Vf in this equation, and that Vn minus Vf has been equated to Vn by 1 plus A beta. So if I substitute, I'll get Vn by 1 plus A beta in this equation. Okay. By substituting this value for Vn minus Vf, I'm going to get Vn by 1 plus A beta into, there is an Ri here, that Ri I can't leave. I should write it will be Vn by Ri into 1 plus A beta, an expression for Iin. Now, if I take this value and substitute it here, I am going in the reverse direction. If I substitute it here, I'll get Vn divided by, what is the value of Iin? Iin is Vn by Ri into 1 plus A beta, right? This is the value, Vn by Rin into, so if this Vn cancels out, what is left? What would be the value of Rif here? You have 1 by Ri. So this goes to the numerator. You will have Ri into 1 plus A beta. You will get the resistance with feedback. Input resistance with feedback will be input resistance without feedback multiplied with this desensitivity factor 1 plus A beta. So what does this mean? This means that in the non-inverting amplifier, after giving negative feedback, the input resistance has increased. The voltage gain we showed will be lesser. Voltage gain will be decreased, A by 1 plus A beta, that is AF, whereas the input resistance has increased, which is a desirable factor. This factor is needed. Remember, I told you for all voltage amplifiers, we need to have very high input resistance and very low output resistance. And in this voltage series feedback non-inverting amplifier, I am getting the required high input resistance after giving negative feedback in the circuit. Is this clear? So all what we are doing is just mathematical manipulations. And one thing what you should remember is to write the Thevenin's equivalent circuit inside the op-amp. After that, you are just manipulating. Any doubts with this? Okay, if you don't have any doubts, we'll stop here. We'll do the output resistance in the next class.